On the screen behind me, we're going to bring you the breaking news that we're bringing in right now. A plea regarding a life ban on politicians that have been convicted under serious charges from contesting elections. This has been in front of the Supreme Court for a while now. As we speak, the judgment is being pronounced by the Chief Justice of India, D Y Chandrachud. So this is on the question of whether or not convicted politicians should face a lifetime ban. So when there are very serious charges against a politician, should they face a lifetime ban from competing in elections? As we speak, the judgment is being pronounced. Justice D Y Chandrachud, the CJI of India, he said there exist multiple factors, hence it will be difficult for this court to form a uniform guideline for trial courts to dispose these cases. He has, however, given directions to high courts. He said high courts shall issue directions. He's also said the Advocate General, etc., may be called for assistance. He said that they will be called to submit reports. Remember, the question was whether or not MPs and MLAs that are facing charges that are punishable by, for example, death penalty, whether or not they should be able to stand for elections. Now what we're learning is the CJI is saying that the question of whether those MP or MLAs that are facing death penalty should be allowed to, for example, run elections, that will be question number one. So Ananya Bhatnagar, our legal correspondent, sorry, he's with us right now. Let me go over to Ananya with our first question. Ananya, can you just tell our audiences, is the Supreme Court essentially saying that it's too difficult to put out a standard set of guidelines, but there are multiple questions here that they do want higher courts to answer? The first question being, if MPs or MLAs are facing serious charges, like, for example, the death penalty, whether or not they should be allowed to stand for elections. Is that a correct summary? Can you tell us more?
Well, there were two questions that the Supreme Court had to answer. One is with regards to the expedition of hearing against MPs and MLAs who are facing charges. And for that, the Supreme Court has very well answered that particular query, clearly saying that, though a particular uniform guideline cannot be created at this point of time, but definitely certain directions have been passed down to the High Court, where it has been asked by the Supreme Court to the Chief Justice of the High Court to actually monitor the number of cases, the number of MP MLA cases in their the jurisdiction, and all the special MP MLA courts will submit their reports to, in fact, the Chief Justice of that particular High Court as well. Now, the next thing and the next question that comes up is with regards to a lifetime ban on, in fact, contesting elections when people are facing serious charges is, with regards to how the Supreme Court will actually take up this issue on a hearing on a more aspect. It wants to hear that particular matter more, and it wants to decide that particular question itself. So there will be much more hearings required. So only one question has been answered today. The second one would be answered after subsequent hearings by the Supreme Court, whether or not there is a lifetime ban on contesting elections if at all a person is convicted, is something that the Supreme Court is yet to answer. There will be more hearings in this particular regard, and then only the Supreme Court would actually reach any kind of a conclusion.
Okay, all right. Ananya, thank you for bringing us those details. So two pieces to this entire story. As my colleague Ananya was saying, the Supreme Court will arrive on a decision on the 2nd in a few days from now. Let's take a look at what the petitioner, Ashwini Upadhyay, had to say. Take a look.
सुनवाई होगी अब, लेकिन आज जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कह दिया है कि पूरे देश में जहां भी एमएलए एमपी का मुकदमा चल रहा है, चाहे वो डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट में हो, चाहे हाई कोर्ट में हो, वो सारे के सारे 1 साल के अंदर डिसाइड किए जाएंगे।
ठीक है सर, थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।